now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book The Man Crisis comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today. One of my viewers wanted to know why the Manosphere refuses to call out right-wing Gynocentrism. Now, Gynocentrism is a dominant or exclusive focus on women in theory or practice. And many of the men in the Manosphere, it looks like they want to give women on the right a pass because they want to create a covert contract with them. Now, many of these men in the Manosphere believe that women on the right are more so-called traditional, and because they believe that these women are more so-called traditional, they believe that they can possibly make these women into allies for their cause. Now, these males in the Manosphere, what they want to do is look to create a covert contract with those women, and they believe in that covert contract. If they go out here and give those women a pass, those women will reciprocate by submitting to them and be the traditional woman who will represent their ideas. Unfortunately, many of these males do not understand female nature, and they don't understand that when it comes down to most women, if you give them a pass, all you're going to do is open up the door for your entire platform to become hijacked. And that's exactly what happened to the entirety of the Manosphere. What we had were a group of females who came to social media, and as those women came to social media, they began parroting the talking points of many men in the Manosphere. And as those men began hearing these women say the things that they wanted to hear, they lost complete focus of the mission of the Manosphere. And that's how we got the mess we have right now, because the original mission of the Manosphere was supposed to be that it was supposed to be a male-only space. And in that male-only space, men were supposed to come together, and men were supposed to come together to go out here and help other men build things like businesses, give men advice on their careers, give men advice on how to navigate life and social situations. It was supposed to be a place where men were supposed to sharpen other men. Unfortunately, there were a group of weak men on social media, and these weak men, once they started to hear the buzzwords from many of these women who were looking to exploit the Manosphere, what they did was start listening to these women saying the things that they wanted to hear. And as they saw that these women were saying what they wanted to hear, they began to invite them into their social circles. And as they invited them into their social circles, because they appeared to be more traditional than the women they were complaining about, these men forged a covert contract with those so-called right-wing women, hoping that if they forged this covert contract with these women, where they would allow them into their personal spaces, they would be able to have an ally to say that she's a Nawalt. And a Nawalt means not all women are like that, and that this woman is completely different. But what these guys really didn't see is that most of those women, they were basically female chameleons, and these female chameleons were basically changing their colors so that they could enter into the male spaces. And as they entered into the male spaces, they were hoping to exploit these males by going out here and presenting themselves as that unicorn Nawalt. And as they presented themselves as the unicorn Nawalt, they could come into those circles, say the things that they wanted to say, elevate their own platforms. And as they elevated their own platforms, what they were doing was going out here and getting more views than these men on social media, getting more cash apps and Patreon donations. Meanwhile, small channels like myself, who have been doing men's issues and staying consistent, those channels were getting ignored. And again, that's all because you had guys in the manosphere who don't want to call out right-wing gynocentrism, and they don't want to call out right-wing gynocentrism because of the covert contract they have with these women, and they also don't want to call out right-wing gynocentrism because they themselves profit from talking about gynocentrism. With many channels on the manosphere, they have a heavy focus on women, and they spend most of their time complaining about women because complaining about women is what gets them views on social media, gets them lots of people viewing their live streams, and is a revenue stream for them. They are not really, they get so caught up in the money and the attention that they receive from talking and complaining about women that they basically lose their way as related to what the, again, original goals of the manosphere were all about. Because the original goals of the manosphere were supposed to be, again, about it being a male-only space, and in that male-only space, it was supposed to be an environment where men were supposed to be sharpening other men, men were supposed to be teaching other men, men were supposed to be providing advice for other men. Unfortunately, what happened to the manosphere is that many of the males there do not understand what being a man is all about. And because they don't understand what being a man is all about, which is building and which is developing businesses, developing institutions, and empowering other men, what we have are a group of males who sit there and complain about women, go out here and spread gossip about women, and when women start to parrot their talking points, what happens is these males start simping on these women online, again, as part of their covert contract, as they let them into their social spaces, elevate these women. They hope that eventually they could possibly get a phone number from one of these women online, and they're thinking they can go out here and possibly get a date or possibly get this woman to drop the skid mark thong, and get a taste of the atomic waste from the carbon rod as they do some nuclear fusion. That is what many of these guys in the manosphere believe that they can do if they give these women a pass. And these guys, they look to give the woman a pass because they believe they can get her into to be that in the wall. They believe that they can get that support from this woman. And again, this completely compromises all the ideals that are presented as related to the manosphere. And again, they look to give the conservative woman a pass because they believe her politics are in line with theirs. They believe that since she's saying the right things, she's going to do what she says. But no, this female chameleon just, again, is telling these guys what they want to hear. And as they tell them what they want to hear, they have taken control over the narrative of the manosphere. And in their gynocentrism, what they're doing is participating in promoting anti-black narratives, because many of the gynocentrists are basically feminists, and these feminists in disguise, again, they are saying what they want to hear so that they can get these men to submit to them. And as these men start simping, what they don't see is that these women want to promote anti-black narratives in between the lines of their agenda. And again, it's all about hijacking the manosphere, and the manosphere is only gotten hijacked because the men who were running it are weak, and these weak men, they basically are allowing this to happen because they are not leaders, because men who are leaders, they will decline these women. They will say, oh, it's nice you want to agree with me, but this space is about men sharpening other men, men helping to build with other men, men working to empower other men. It is not about women or the attention of women. No, that's not what the manosphere is supposed to be about. But sadly, many in the manosphere are all gynocentric, because a lot of these guys, they basically are all about women, because they basically think that they can go out here, as if they complain enough about women, they will make women change. But all they're running into are female chameleons who present themselves as Nawalts. And as these women present themselves as Nawalts, these guys basically fall for the okie doke. And as they fall for the okie doke, they wind up being played like suckers. And again, this is why the manosphere refuses to call out right-wing gynocentrism, because many of the guys in the manosphere are basically simps, and these simps would basically compromise any sort of man in order to get the attention of a woman. Again, many of the men in the manosphere do not have the intangibles of manhood, like integrity, character, discipline, and resolve to protect their space, because many of these men were never taught male life skills or male survival skills, and because these men do not understand how important it is to have other male allies, they devalue male allies the first minute a woman pays attention to them. And again, they've hijacked the narrative, and again, these women are going to divide and conquer the manosphere, and they've divided and conquered the manosphere because these guys, again, they just are so caught up in women, and they are so caught up in women, they cannot even see another man, because they basically want to be, get the attention of women, and that's why they're sitting there complaining about women, because men who are on their purpose are not complaining about women. No, what they're doing is working to improve themselves as men. They're working to work with other men towards building. That is what men are doing, and that's not what the manosphere is about anymore. No, the manosphere is just a place where men are a joke, and you have a bunch of males looking to talk about there are women that they're including, but those women they are including are just looking to tear down their space and looking to make these men into a laughingstock. And again, these guys really can't see this, because a lot of these guys are just still caught up in their feelings about bad relationships, bad women, and they're not working on improving themselves as men. Now, this was a video requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request a video like the viewer did, you can send a donation to the Cash App or the Patreon or the PayPal, and if I know something about that subject, I will make that video for you. And if you want to learn more about men's issues, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis: Stop Simping in the Workplace, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, and other books like Why 70% of Black Women Are Single and The Woman Crisis. You can find all those men's issues books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Smashware's The iBookstore and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today.